Yo, what's up, y'all? How y'all feeling this week, man? It's been a great week. Just coming in with our team and just being able to talk about different things that we may be facing as challenges, ways to be able to break bad habits and to continue to keep on moving forward in the positive direction that we choose to all move in. This week, I wanted to talk about um, let's bring this up. So let me get to this banner and bring it up for you guys. This week we are going to talk about we are who we surround ourselves with. And so just going off into that topic about we are who we surround ourselves with. Sometimes what happens is that we're so much creatures of habit that we could be around people who are talking about negative things. We could be around people who are doing things that aren't what we're doing or trying to be able to produce in our lives. And subconsciously, we think that we're helping them. I mean, consciously, we think that we're helping them, but subconsciously, listening to them and complaining is actually programming you in the same direction. And what happens is that we think it's okay to be a person that's trying to be there for people, but you also have to realize that people have to be them for themselves because they're not broken. They can absolutely have a chance to be able to renew themselves and heal themselves as well, just like you did. And you can't take on their problems. You have to be able to understand that they have to deal with their own issues, and it's not up for you to fix them because people do not need fixing. They are okay and they're perfectly fine where they're at. And so I know for me, that was a problem for me, always just being able to try to be there for people, thinking that I'm doing them a favor, doing them a solid. And in reality, it was doing me more disservice. Not going into the goals and going into the things that I needed to be able to go into as a person. And so I was missing my blessings doing things like that. So that's what we wanted to be able to talk about this week. Just go around the room, everybody can introduce themselves, what they do, and yeah, I start to my right, and I mean to my left. Boom, my Jesna, you can go, and you guys can keep on going down in the line.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Mai Jesna. Um, I do a few things. So I am in marketing, e-commerce, and I am a sexologist. So I have the sex talk with parents and their teens, and also with adults to help reach their sexuality, not like their gender sexuality, but to get them where they want to go in their sexual world. And then help partners to get back on track if they're battling with anything. And we also have a store that I help run um, with the nine collections. So I'm a little versatile here. So I'm a personal coach, I guess, because I can help in different areas. Oh, and I'm with Ann and Jarmel on Just the Thought podcast, which I help run in the back of that too. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a little bit everywhere. So I'm able to help in many different ways. If you need to, you guys can reach out for certain services. And if I don't know, Jarmel might know and might know. So I like that everybody here is versatile. So that's a little bit about me.
Woo!
I had to follow that one.
My name is Sonia, y'all, and I go by Sunny. Oh my goodness. I do a lot as well. I am in media. I do a lot of interviews, red carpet interviews. I do interviews for businesses, artists, all of that good stuff. Anything that has to do with media, that's what I do. I'm also on Jarmel's team as well. My Jevna, Anne Marie. What else? I do a lot.
You don't have to go into everything. You
Yeah,
can.
but
It's okay
if
to
you
be
guys need my
simple.
service, if you're looking to be interviewed, I also have a podcast too that we do on Monday nights as well. And on Sundays, we do our interview shows as well too. So if you're a business or anybody that wants to be interviewed, feel free to reach out to me. Oh, and I do bookings as well. So
Yep. Go ahead, Queen. Can you hear us? Can you hear us now? Go ahead. You want to say introduce yourself? Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, introduce yourself and tell them what you do.
Okay, yes. Hi, so my name is Christiana Robertson. I guess you could say I'm a jack of all trades. I'm a licensed realtor. I deal with wholesale off-market properties. I'm a graphic designer. I build websites. I started this affirmations line, which is geared towards teenagers, children, and of course young women, dealing with like school supplies. I put like words of affirmations on the cover. I have these different characters that I've created. Children of all races, because I believe that when it comes to children, aspiring to be somebody, I believe that it should be reflected on their school material. So I have like these flashcards I create with affirmations, for children to just give them a level of boost of confidence every day. Math, reading, writing, yeah. And I also do graphics, and I'm a social media manager, so I just do everything. I do everything. So, if you're looking to get partnered in those niches, I do custom journals, ebooks, anything I can get my hands into. I'm definitely all about the multiple streams of income. And actually, I want to plug this one, very important. Me and my husband's actually working on a book that we're going to be dropping in the next 30 days. I'm not going to say what it's about, but it was very viral this year, and I'll just leave it at that. So stay tuned. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
Absolutely. That's amazing to hear. We can see, and we do this because we want to be able to build community, build connections, you know what I mean? And also just build a place where people could be able to be around people that are moving in the same direction. So I'm so glad to be able to meet you. I can't wait to connect with you. Definitely got a different things that we can connect on. Shireen, go ahead, keep it moving.
Yes, I'm like y'all. I got a lot of stuff too. I'm a senior tax consultant. I've been doing that for years, but on the forefront of things, business is health and wellness. So I'm a yoga instructor and I'm a health and wellness coach. I will do virtual yoga private sessions. If you're local, I'll be in Elgin, 2090 Larkin, Suite 21, every Sunday, 6 p.m. You can book me. I have it on Eventbrite, or you can just look me up on Instagram, Yoga Rain, or Facebook. I also can do consultations if you're looking to change your eatings. We can incorporate that and do some yoga. So.
And go ahead. You go ahead and close it out. The closer. Let's close it out.
That I said the person with the least jobs gets to close it. I'm in the health and wellness space. So my degree is food and exercise science. I've spent 40 years in this industry. I'm passionate about helping women find their pathway to being well and staying well. I'm with Jarmel. I think when we focus on the assumption that you're broken and you need to be fixed, I think that's when everything stops. And everything changed for me personally and changed for my business when you realize that no matter what you're doing, it's a collaboration, right? It's a cooperation. Mm-hmm. Nobody needs to be fixed. We just need somebody to listen sometimes, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And I have the privilege of doing the podcast with Jarmel and my Jesna. I know nothing about technology, so you are all way ahead of the game with me there. And I do marketing and education for the largest online wellness store in North America, melluca.com. If you guys haven't heard of them before, you should, particularly with it being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Small changes can definitely improve our health. I believe that 100%.
Most definitely. You know what? And I'll tell you this, we're going to go off into stuff for this week. I think next week we should talk about things that have to do with cancer, breast cancer, different things like that. So we could be able to have that as our next week's show, and we can talk about things like that. That'd be dope. So, yeah, most definitely. So this week, we're just going to get off into getting ready and getting prepared for the next week that's coming up, And I'm always about, hey, listen, the people that I surround myself with is very important. I remember when I was running around with people who were running around in circles and doing different things that were doing the same things. I would find myself doing the same things unconsciously, and even consciously doing it. Be like, man, I gotta stop doing this, but you still continuing to keep on doing it, and having to be able to learn to be able to slow down, and it's okay to be good at something and not good at, and be great at something and to be not good at everything, because you're basically you're fragmenting yourself. You're not being able to be at the holistically you. And then also learning that the people that I surround myself with, the conversations that are happening are being actually programmed into my subconscious. So whether I want to be able to like this conversation or not, it's programming into my subconscious around the people that we ultimately hang around. So learning how to be able to change our environment. So I'm going to play a couple of videos like we do, and then we can comment on them. Okay. So first video I'm gonna play, and then after that we'll do a comment on it. Okay.
Association with individuals that are going to hang in that kind of conversation. We have to not associate with people who live in the field of impossibility, put you down if you're trying to go forward, telling you you're off base if you're trying to do something that's out of bounds. If you associate with individuals, as the old statement goes, it's better to be by yourself than to be with bad company. So if you associate with individuals that are talking possibility, more possibility is going to flow through you. Now, these kind of stories are very inspirational, particularly in light of the fact that most of the things that we're bombarded with via the media are all the negative things that happen, the lowest common denominator of the human experience. So you'll get all of this whole things about all the negative things that are happening on the planet, but they never balance it with, look at all of these beautiful things that are happening. Look at all these remissions. Look at all these inventions. Look at all this art that's being produced. You don't get that.
Look at all these people who are safe.
Right. Safe. Ooh, they didn't die tonight. The house didn't blow up. No. And so we have to, that's called malicious hypnotism. That our media is basically hypnotizing people through seduction, provocation, and intimidation into a small point of view. And you have to not only withstand that, you gotta opt out. Just like you get credit cards or you get programs and say you can opt out anytime. People have to wake up every single day and opt out of that paradigm. I'm opting out of the paradigm of fear. I'm opting out of the paradigm of lack and limitation.
Take me off the
scarcity.
list.
Take me off the list. I don't want it. I'm not subscribing to that anymore. I'm describing to something else. And feed yourself with that possibility until it becomes so ingrained in your being that that's where you're living. And then you actually repulse the negative. You become impervious to it. You see, that's why I'm saying it's a comedy, because I'll just watch people just like, God, everybody's so scared of everything. What are you doing? What are you eating? What are you taking in? Stop it. Take care of your mind.
What if
I think he's still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what did you guys think about that?
I think it's true. When you hang around people who are not aligned with what it is you're trying to do, and they're still like stuck in one place, you can't elevate still being around the same thing. And sometimes it's okay to realize that you have to move on to get to where you need to go, and know that everybody won't be able to go with you. Sometimes that is hard to kind of digest, because you always want to help like your friend or your family member. And sometimes you just can't. You have to do what's best for you. And they're either going to organically, the universe going to make that change. But you kind of got to keep going through it. And sometimes it's hard because you can get sucked back in, but you got to work towards what's really best for you.
Anybody else wanted to chime in on that one?
Yeah, first of all, was his voice amazing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like the best.
Yeah.
He's like one of my favorites, man.
Yeah, me too. He's my favorite too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Michael Begley.
So-
yeah.
I just wanted to say that. It's interesting because my husband and I had a conversation around this morning. We were running. We did a volunteer event downtown Chicago last night for a nonprofit we work for. And just to be at this festival and to be around such a diverse population from every aspect, from age and culture and race and sexual orientation, all of it, like it just a completely diverse area. And just to realize that everybody was there, you know, having fun, enjoying the process, enjoying the evening, enjoying the food and the music and what was going on, is just kind of a gentle reminder that we don't always have to be around people that are like us. It's sometimes nice and refreshing, and the way the world is supposed to operate, to be around people who are not like us, right? That we get to learn from and listen from and grow with. And I think a lot of what he was talking about, and a lot of what we kind of were talking about this morning, is from a cultural perspective, we categorize things into good and bad all the time. This is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. And I think the thing that's saddest about that is that we have so many other emotions and feelings that are far outside of good and bad. You know, it can be joyful, it can be awe-inspiring, it can be frustrating, it can be hurtful, it can be, I mean, we have, you know, 200 emotions. And we so simplify into good and bad, when really everything is kind of a bunch of shades of gray. Things aren't black and white. And I think that's where we've gotten into trouble. I think it's because we've become lazy. We're lazy communicators. We're way lazy listeners. We don't listen. We want to react and we want to respond, but we don't listen. And it's much easier to be black and white then. That's just my feelings.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that definitely plays a lot of factor. I mean, I know for me personally, that there used to be, you know, all right, this is my people, this is my surrounding, this is what I'm gonna be around. And I was like, okay, this is where I'm gonna be, until something woke up and was like, okay, well, you don't have to be here. You can be somewhere else. You can do this. You can do this. And it started being open to more opportunities. And then listening to, like you said, is, you know, the real thing that you said out of that is that not surrounding yourself around people who are like you. It really takes growth to be around people who are not like you, and it actually makes you have to listen, because you're not based off of that program anymore of just reacting to that atmosphere or that type of environment. Because when you're around the same type of people, it's the same type of conversation. So it's the same triggers, it's the same reactions. It's going to always be the same. It's never going to be able to change. You're going to be trying to look for change within something that's never going to change, because it's just like you, or it's just like this, and you feel comfortable being around that. And life isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to be daring, and you're supposed to be always on the edge, because you're supposed to be living in the unknown here. And if we're in the unknown, that means that we are open to new experiences. And once we close ourselves off to new experiences, we're then saying that we want to be around people who are just like us. And that the thing that actually makes us lose. So anybody else wanted to chime in on this one before I go into another video?
Absolutely. And too, all about surrounding yourself with individuals who's going to support and inspire your growth.
Absolutely.
You know, I know for me, I like to hang out with people too that's smarter than me, you know, and I like learning. And it's all about advancing and different things of that sort. You know what I'm saying? And you got to remember, we got to remember too, you know, everybody has their own journey, and it's perfectly okay for, people to outgrow relationships, certain relationships, and it's perfectly fine. You just gotta let them go.
Man,
Let it go.
Yes. Shireen, you got something you want to chime in on? Want to say something?
Yeah. So me, I reflect off that because I know how at a point in time I was unconscious, but when I came conscious, I'm aware that other people are unconscious about, a lot of things. So I know whatever space I'm walking into, I'm in a conscious space now. So I'm not going to go back there, but it's not going to be judgment either, but just holding my position.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it. If you hold your position from a standpoint, you can't make people be what you want them to be. They're absolutely going to be what they are, and that's okay. And learning that is okay and being okay with that.
Yeah.
Because if what ultimately happens is if you know that they're at this place and they're having the same experiences, it's going to be the same conversation every time you try to be able to approach it about something or do this type of thing. It's going to always be that way. And if you're looking for something different, then now it's like they say the statement, suicidal is when you're expecting different results, doing the same thing and expecting different results. So I'm gonna
and if you're trying to get, and then too, if you're trying to remove yourself from that situation, you have to set boundaries and limit your time that you have around that person or that individual, to allow yourself to grow.
Absolutely. I mean, that's well said. That's well said. I agree. And so look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna play this last video, and then we'll get off we'll go into another feedback.
Many of us are wandering the earth, accomplished in many ways, capable of fulfillment at many points, but with a fundamental wound that stops us from becoming who we truly might be. We don't quite know who we are. It isn't, of course, that we can't remember the basics of our biographies. We're unsure around two things in particular. Firstly, we don't have a stable sense of what we're worth. And secondly, we don't have a secure hold on our own values or judgments. Without knowing who we are, we tend to have particular trouble coping with either denigration or adulation. If other people decide that we are worthless or bad, there will be nothing inside us to prevent us from swallowing their verdicts in their entirety, however wrong-headed, extreme, or unkind these might be. We'll be helpless before the court of public opinion. We'll always be asking other people what we deserve before seeking inside for an answer. Lacking an independent verdict, we also stand to be unnaturally hungry for external praise. The clapping of an audience will matter to us far more than would ever be wise. We'll be prey to rushing towards whatever idea or activity the crowd happens to love. We'll laugh at jokes that aren't funny, uncritically accept undeserving concepts that are in vogue, and neglect our truer talents for easy, popular wins. We'll trail public opinion slavishly, constantly checking the world's whims rather than consulting an inner barometer in order to know what we should want, feel, and value. We need to be kind on ourselves. No one is born with an independent ability to know who they are. We learn to have an identity because, if we're blessed, in our early years, someone else takes the trouble to study us with immense fairness, attention, and kindness, and then plays us back to us in a way that makes sense and that we can later emulate. they give us the beginning of a true portrait of our identity, which we can then take on and enrich over the years and use as a defense against the distorting verdicts from hurried or ill-intentioned others. Knowing who one is really the legacy of having been known properly by somebody else at the start. This early identity building tends to unfold with apparently innocuous but life-saving small steps. "Oh, that must really have hurt," a parent might say in response to an upset, thereby validating an infant's own feelings. Or, "It's okay not to feel happy on your birthday," the parent might say at another point, delicately upholding an infant's less typical response to certain events. Ideally, the child isn't just known, he or she is also interpreted as likable. A good parent offers generous interpretations. They're on the side of the child and are always ready to put the best possible gloss on moments of ill temper or of failure, which forms the basis upon which resilient self-esteem can then later emerge. Now, that's the ideal, but it can, of course, go very wrong and often does. A parent may offer mirroring that is out of sync with the reality of the child. "Look, who's such a happy little boy or girl?" a parent might insist, when actually the opposite is clearly the case, thereby badly scrambling the child's ability to connect with their own emotions. Or the parent might only lend the child a very harsh, punitive way of interpreting itself, repeatedly suggesting that the child is ill-intentioned or no good. Or the parent may simply not show very much interest in the child, focusing themselves elsewhere, so that the child grows up with a feeling that not only is it not worth cherishing, but also because it hasn't been adequately seen and mirrored, that it doesn't even quite exist.
All right, I'm unmuted. Okay, you guys can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, just going off into that, it's more so like self-image building. You know, it goes all the way back to self-image building when it comes to all this stuff. You know, what you see about yourself is ultimately going to be the results that you're going to get. And learning how to be able to, yeah, you can hear people, but you don't have to listen. And you have to be able to hear it from a standpoint of, look, I know some people say things to me all the time, but do I accept it? That's not the image that I have accepted about myself. So I'm very selective about the people that I spend my time with. Am I open to be able to hear anything? I'm absolutely open to be able to hear it. But when you got to learn the difference between when someone's downing you and when somebody's actually uplifting you. And when you're having uplifting conversations versus, I don't know what's going on here. Hold on, let me stop sharing my screen. Boom. All right. So when you're having uplifting conversations and when you're having conversations that just don't align with who you are and what you're doing. So anybody wanted to chime in off of that video? Nobody? Everybody good?
So it's interesting because I picked up on a couple things there that I thought were, I love that he talked about the idea of worth. First of all, those videos, because I know that's the second week in a row you've used them, they're really well done. So I do want to give credit where credit's due there. So to you who found and those who are producing, they're really well done. But the idea of worth or self-worth, and that we can't be looking for external praise. I think that's super important. And I think that's something we don't pause and reflect enough on. We don't have to be validated by someone else or anything else. That would include a like on, Instagram or Facebook, or someone praising you, to know our worth. And I think that's getting super confusing in the world that we live in, where everything is measured. That quantitative, how many A's did I get? What college did you get into? How many likes did you get on Instagram? Sometimes if we realize the value to ourselves, again, you're saying this, doesn't matter what somebody else felt or thought. Did it hold value to us? So if we did this here today and nobody else saw it, I would have gotten value out of that, and that would be good enough. So I think that that's important to kind of rest on. So and maybe I'll just pause there.
No, that's it. I mean, I think that's the message for today. You know, it doesn't matter who's looking. It always matters who's receiving it. And that's the value in it. You know what I mean? And so, man, let's get to it. You know, that, you know, I'm just at this place where it's like, hey, Sundays we get together, keep motivating each other, keep going. Any type of we also connect during the week. We're getting ready to get off and do a call, talk about some more business and keep it going, and just being around more motivated people. So anybody who's also looking at this while we're live, if you want to get into the My Road group, also we got the Just the Thought, anything that's going on positive and you guys want to be connected to us, reach out. We are here to be able to be of service as always, and we always are. So we're going to leave this week because we get ready to get up out of here because we got some moves to be able to make. Want to thank everybody. Definitely the whole team. Thank you guys for being able to spend 30 minutes out of your time. It's always a blessing to be able to talk to you guys, and let's do it again. We'll be back next week. Peace and blessings. Peace. Hey, Jormel Reese in real life. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.